Slush jelly? It sounds like some kind of candy or ice cream treat. Well, for trout, it actually is. Join me at my tying bench. I'll show you just what I'm talking about. Hello everyone, I'm Phil Rowley and welcome to my YouTube channel and my tying bench. On this channel I like to show you how I tie some of my favorite flies, and I also enjoy taking you out in the water with me to show you how I use them. Today we're tying you the slush jelly blob. This fly is one of my favorite dropper flies to fish under an indicator or to cast and strip during the late summer and early fall when trout are transitioning back from the deep water where they spent the summer into the shallows, and at that time they've been feeding a lot on zooplankton, and this fly imitates the clusters that they feed on. This fly is also a great attractor just simply because it draws fish into your team of flies where they may eat a more natural fly hanging below or above it. Join me at my bench. I'll show you how I tie it. Don't forget to check out the description below for the links to all the materials I'm going to show you in this fly and where you can get them. So let's go. Let's tie a slush jelly blob. Alright, I'm now going to tie you the slush blob. Into the jaws of the vise, I've got a Daiichi 1120 curved scud pupa hook. You could also tie this on a number 10. I've got a 7/64 bead for this number 12. For a number 10, I would use a 1/8. And I generally use brass beads for this, although you could certainly use tungsten. So I'm going to start the tying thread behind the bead, just using some hot orange thread to complement the color of the fly we're going to tie. Just put a nice base layer down. I usually go down just where it starts to fall off to the back of that crushed down barb. We'll advance the tying thread forward. Now we've got a good thread base. I'm going to put a little flash tail on it. So we're using some Krinkle mirror flash. You don't want to use too much of this because it's quite overt with its shine, but just again to draw the fish to your fly. And I've taken 3 or 4 strands and moisten them to keep them together and in control. We're just going to lay those on top of the hook like so, and then I'm going to wind back a little ways and then take the waist that's sticking out forward of the tying point, fold that back over to double it and secure that down to where I finished the base wrap. Let the thread hang there, and then we're going to trim these. We'll do a rough trim to start with. We'll do a final trim later. Want to make sure we have enough that sticks out behind the body. Now, the body, this is a really simple fly. Its name, it comes from the body material itself, which is slush jelly, which is a blend of fritz and chenille. It's very soft and translucent when it gets wet. There's lots of colors like this. We're using these to match Daphnia, so I'm going to go with the sunburst orange. This color has been particularly good for me. The safety orange. It's been particularly good. And just like any chenille, we've cut off a small length, and you can see there's a little core there. I'm just going to use my thumbnail to scrape away and expose the core. Just bind it in like so. Wind it up. Right to the back of the bead, push that bead well forward, and now we're simply just going to take this material and wind it around the shank. And you can moisten your fingers a little bit and treat it almost like a hackle, and just with each wrap try to sweep the material from the preceding wrap back out of the way. And you may have to every once in a while have a look at the material, and you can untwist it, because every time we wind it over we put a little twist in it, so we can literally unravel that. And we're going to go right up to the rear of the bead like so. Give it a good tug. Sort of, if you notice I'm holding the material kind of sideways, I'm just trying to work the thread through the fibers, trying to trap as little as I can down, and we'll pull this back out of the way. Throw a few wraps behind that bead, come in with the rear of the scissors to trim that off. Alright, all it's left to do is to put a little super glue onto the tying thread so we don't get the glue all over those fibers. Moisten my fingers a little bit and sweep everything back. Work that coated thread right in behind the bead. Dig out our whip finisher. I'm going to give this bobbin a clockwise spin to cord it up. That'll strengthen the wraps and also reduce their volume. And then we'll just put 4 to 5 turn whip finish directly behind the bead. Might trim those tails. I'm going to trim the tail just a hair, about half just so it sticks out like a tail would outside. And that is your finished slush blob. This is a pattern we use to imitate Daphnia or zooplankton. When fish get on those, often in the summer months, late fall they're still on them, or any time of the year, but we're matching the color, and we would suspend this like we would a chironomid pupa or larva under a strike indicator, cast it out, let it sit, and wait for that to pull down. So add a few slush blobs to your box.